Hello and welcome back to another lazy lesson. The plight of hundreds of thousands of Rohingya people is said to be the world's fastest growing refugee crisis. Now this ethnic group will finally see their tragic plight being taken up in an international court of law. Yes, the country of Gambia recently brought this case at the United Nations International Court of Justice. Here the charge against Myanmar is that it carried out a systematic targeted campaign of terror, rape and murder against its Muslim population in August 2017. So dear friends, in today's discussion, we shall be discussing more about the Rohingyas, their plight, what is the crisis all about, what is the case against the Myanmar and the implications of ICJ ruling. Now first of all, who are Rohingyas? Where did they come from? And why are they being targeted in Myanmar? Well, the Rohingya story begins well before the 1940s with the British colonization of Myanmar in 1820s. It was then called Burma. As the British were mainly interested in trading, they encouraged migrant laborers to come and work in the rice fields of Myanmar. And because of this, many Rohingyas came into the country from the neighboring areas. Census records reveal that between 1871 and 1911, in a span of 40 years, the Rohingya Muslim population nearly tripled in Burma. And Rohingyas then had supported British in each and every way. And in exchange for their political support, the British had promised to give the Rohingya their own Muslim territory within the Burma region. This promise was however not met when Burma gained independence in 1948. The Myanmar government did not pay any heed to their demands. The Myanmar government did not just reject the Rohingyas' request for an autonomous state, but also called them foreigners and denied them citizenship. So eventually they became stateless. But the Rohingyas did not sit quiet. Within a few years, they staged a rebellion against the new Myanmar government. However, the rebellion was brutally crushed by the Myanmar state government. And this marked the beginning of a decades-long cycle of repression. And eventually, this culminated in the August 2017 massacre. So the Rohingyas are a mostly Muslim ethnic minority community who have been called the world's most persecuted minority. They have been staying in the Rakhine state of Bangladesh, and the United Nations has described the military offensive in the Rakhine state as a textbook example of ethnic cleansing. Now fearing persecution, nearly 7 lakh Rohingyas left their homes in Myanmar and have settled in Bangladesh and India. Now Rohingyas have their own language and culture and say they are descendants of Arab traders and other groups who have been in the region for generations. But Myanmar is predominantly a Buddhist country, and hence the Myanmar government has been refusing citizenship to these Rohingyas. The state government sees them as illegal migrants from Bangladesh. Now for years, there has been inaction from both Muslim and non-Muslim countries alike over the plight of the Rohingyas. Now the country of Gambia has finally moved to put Myanmar on trial. And the Gambia says that it felt compelled to take action after reading a UN report detailing atrocities committed by Myanmar against the Rohingya. And very interestingly, on this matter, Gambia also has the support of the 57-member Organization for Islamic Cooperation. Now the case here involves litigation between two member states of the UN, and it is not a criminal case against any individual of the alleged crimes. And here, the Gambia has accused Myanmar of violating the UN's 1948 Convention to Prevent Genocide. It relies heavily on last year's UN report. The report found that the Myanmar government had genocidal intent against the Rohingyas and accused the military of murder, rape, torture, false imprisonment and sexual slavery. And the report has also provided the names of specific military leaders who should be prosecuted for genocide. And notably, the report had also observed that Aung San Suu Kyi, who is Myanmar's top civilian leader in her position as state councillor, used neither her moral authority nor her de facto position as head of the government to stave off the atrocities in the Rakhine state. Now the case is significant because it's the first time that a signatory to the UN's Genocide Convention that does not have a direct connection to the case is using its membership to bring proceedings. Now Nobel Peace Prize winner Aung San Suu Kyi has travelled to the International Court of Justice in the Netherlands to defend Myanmar against charges of genocide committed against the country's Rohingya population. Now Aung San Suu Kyi was once seen as a global icon of democracy, but since her release in 2010 from 15 years of house arrest and subsequent election to the country's highest office in 2016, She has been accused for turning a blind eye to the killings. She has even been called the chief denier of the alleged genocide. Now, what has the Myanmar government said on these allegations? Well, denying all the allegations, it says it is fighting terrorism by groups such as the Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army. And clearly, it has no intentions of ethnic cleansing in the state. Besides, a controversial report by the Myanmar government found no evidence of systematic violence against the Rohingyas. But Myanmar has refused to allow the UN or any outside organization or journalist to conduct an independent investigation. And most of what's known about the Rohingya crisis is being collected from interviews and informations gathered at the Bangladesh border from those fleeing across it. In the UN report, most refugees told the stories of gang rape, mass killings and brutal beatings. And also, more than half of the women interviewed reported having been a victim of sexual violence. And even satellite images have shown Rohingya villages burning. Refugees blame the Myanmar military while the Burmese military has claimed the Rohingyas burned their own homes. Now there are nearly 40,000 Rohingya refugees settled in India, 60,000 of which have obtained official refugee documentation. And now what will happen at the ICJ? Well, in order to rule that Myanmar has committed genocide, the country will have to determine that the state acted with intent to destroy in whole or in part the Rohingya minority. And the final ruling is not expected anytime soon. It may take years. But more problematic for those hoping for robust action against Myanmar is that while the ICJ's ruling are final and binding, the court doesn't have the power to enforce its decisions. Instead, its resolutions are forwarded to the United Nations Security Council, which could decide to enact a resolution or take other concrete measures. Now, based on today's discussion, let us try to solve a question from Prelims perspective. Consider the following: Rohingya, Myanmar, Uighurs, China. Which of the above are correctly matched? You can comment your answers in the comment section below. And that's it for today. Thank you.